So there's a chance that you've seen this clip, but if you haven't, there's a clip circling around Pokimane, but it's about her editor. People say it's her editor from around 2018-ish, since she's had multiple editors in the past, and that's when people think it happened. And it's something I feel like nobody in their right mind would reveal to the other person. And what he revealed was that he was just straight whacking it to her as he edited her videos.
Hey, do you have time to talk? I'm ready to finally tell you why I've been struggling so much with deadlines. And I said, oh, like, great. Hopefully this is something that we can fix. Tell me why he proceeds to tell me that the reason why he would sometimes turn around videos a week or two late is because he couldn't stop touching himself. I was trying to pick which word to use. To me, his, in a way, employer of many, many months. When I tell you I've never halted a conversation so fast, because I'm like, you are the person that I send like hours of footage to. I don't want to know what you're...
So the clip's only about a minute long, but there's information before and after the clip. There were times where he would be a week or two late editing one video, and even after he revealed this to her, she kept him on payroll for months after, because she felt bad if this was the only form of income he had and she didn't want him to lose it. She also didn't know if she was allowed to fire him over this. And years later, she told her manager about it, and even they were confused on why she didn't fire him immediately. Because I feel like it's common sense to fire someone over that. And I know, like, she said that she didn't want him to be the reason why he lost his income. But I mean, if I was her, right, and he told me that, any comfortability I had with my employee would be compromised like right then and there, and I would fire the guy. And really, I wouldn't care how it affected him, because his actions have consequences. He did what he did, said what he said, but I don't have to like what he said. Because imagine her, every time she goes back to, like, you know, listen to any of the videos, her past videos that got in thousands, even millions of views, right? She has the underlying knowing or underlying knowledge that this guy was just straight whacking it as he edited this video that she liked. He was whacking it to her, tugging on his Jimmy, and pulling his pork to VODs of her. She would send him VODs, he would edit it, and sometimes those VODs would be a week late. No wonder it was taking a week longer, he was editing with one hand. But on a serious note, why would he, in any state of mind, say this to her? She was his boss. If he had a normal office job, and his female boss asked him for the reports, because, you know, you're a week behind, and he replied with, my bad, I was whacking it to videos of you, which is why it's late. He would have been fired, probably arrested for sexual harassment, and they wouldn't feel safe with him being in the same city. And look, nobody is gonna try to defend him if she fired him, or if that was the reason why she fired him. In any work environment, being absolutely anything, what he did was unprofessional in any workplace, and he should have been fired immediately. But to me, it's kind of odd why she kept him on for months, even after the initial interaction. He was making her uncomfortable, and as his boss, that should be, you know, right for reason to fire him. Like, this is the type of information, like, you say to your grave. Something you would never say unless you were getting tortured. Or even still, you probably shouldn't say this as you're being tortured. Like, I'm talking about torture like Boondocks Iron Boot type torture. But why would he say this to her as the reason? She asked him, is there anything I can do to help? Because she didn't know what was going on. And she was like, oh, okay, you know, maybe this guy's having a bit of issues. Maybe if I can help him with something, he wouldn't be 2 weeks late multiple times. He could have replied with family issues, personal issues, health issues, like anything, absolutely anything. He decided to say this to her face. The reason why he was late was that he was whacking it to her. Nobody would have known, but he told her that straight to her face. He's 1 week or even 2 weeks late editing one video multiple times. How many times and how long is he just straight whacking it to where he's an entire 2 weeks late just on one video? Because her videos in 2018 were just Fortnite videos that were like 10 minutes or less. Not sure how long the VODs were, but if they were like the ones now, you know, her VODs are around 3 to 6 hours. But honestly, I'm a bit surprised. Not surprised that he was whacking it to her, but surprised that it took him weeks to like edit one video. Because in any situation, it's weird to whack it to someone you know and like talk to probably on a daily basis. Like, you know, for example, your boss, and then tell them about it later. Like, she probably talked to him about the progress on editing, and when they finished talking, he probably just started immediately whacking it to her. Or he probably whacked it as they talked. But what did he expect to happen now that she knows this information? And why did he even think to spread this information out in the first place? Did he think that he was on some sort of like simulation or where he was like the main character of like some next anime, where like since he told her that he was doing this, she was gonna come out and say like, oh, I do the exact same thing, and they were gonna be in a relationship and have a happily ever after. Because I'm curious about, you know, his entire thought process on this entire thing to say what he said, and also kind of his schedule on like when he was editing. Because sometimes 2 weeks late on one video, how many times a day does he do it? Because at a certain point, like, you're just beating a dead horse. But I feel like he might have been actually just editing with one hand at this point. Like, does he only edit when he whacks it and just stops editing till he physically can't whack it anymore, and just waits till he actually can, then starts editing, and it's become a, you know, entire like cycle of just not editing until he can whack it? Because she said he was her editor for months. She said many months. That's still under a year. So I'm guessing 4 to 10 months. Because she said she's had this guy for many months, right? He told her that he was whacking it and kept him on for months later. So I want to say like she had this guy for, I want to say like maybe like 5-6 months, told her, and then kept him on for about like another 4 or 5. Like, I procrastinate, right, with YouTube or COD, but 95% of the times I get things done by the due date. But if anything goes over, I get it done the next day. But being 2 weeks late on like anything is a little bit crazy. For me, you know, with YouTube stuff, since it's not something that makes me an income or something I really have due dates on, I only do it, you know, because it's fun doing. I'm not a professional editor. I don't have a team. So for me, things take time. So, you know, if anything for me, I try to do one video a week. And, you know, for the most part, that's what I try to do when I have the time. There are times where, you know, 2-week gap, I post twice in 1 week. For example, for this video and my last one, it's been about 17-18 days since I last posted. For the most part, I was just kind of lazy. But for majority of it, I was working on another video that is going to take a little bit of time. But thought I should do this one first since it's still relatively new. But this is his full-time job where he has the incentive to do work so he can get money. Like, I've seen how a few full-time editors get paid. They either get paid a flat fee at the end of the month, or they get paid $150 to $400 per video. Like, if they do 8 videos in 1 month, so 2 a week, right? They get paid from a range between $1,200 to $3,200 a month, which isn't bad. Pokimane streams 3 times a week now. Could have been more or less back in 2018. That's 3 videos right there. So in 1 month, there's 12 videos that he can possibly edit. But if it takes him 2 weeks to do one, you know, there's probably an issue. She did the entire groundwork, being just streaming it. All he needs to do is take the VOD, edit out the boring clips, and just add effects to it. But instead of working, he decides to spend his time just whacking it for 2 weeks straight. This guy is a straight definition of a gooner. Like, there are probably people in her chat who do the same thing, but they don't admit it to her face. Because I know 100% that after she revealed this, the same people that were saying, oh, you know, this guy's weird, are the same people who do the same thing. They aren't any better, but at least they don't say it to her face. Because she knows it too, that anytime she does a meet and greet and shakes a guy's hand, strong chance that that guy used his hand to beat off to her. Because that's what half of her fan base is. To be honest, I don't really care that he's been whacking it to her, because, you know, there are probably tens of thousands of people who already do the same. My main thing is, like, this guy is editing for her, was doing it multiple times a day, editing with one hand, admitted it to her face, and somehow didn't get fired right then and there after taking 2 entire weeks, multiple times to do one video. Also, how do you reveal this and act like nothing happened the next day? If I were in her shoes, had an editor tell me this, first thing I'm doing is telling someone. And probably finding a different editor unless I start getting discounts. She kept him on for a couple extra months, even after he revealed this. This is because she didn't want to be the reason why he lost his income. If it was me, I couldn't care less if you call me out for double standards. But if a guy said this, right, the moment those words leave his mouth, he's done. With a woman editor, you know, maybe we can work something out, if you know what I mean. So, you know, that's about it. If you like, then sub. If you sub, you might get another video.